We're not changing how we run the city. If someone is driving to work and has a busted taillight on the way, we don't arrest them and connect them to ICE for deportation. We think that's disruptive for families and for residents.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnston on CNN last night after that backlash from Republicans for comments he made about how Denver would respond to President-elect Trump's mass deportation plan. Now, Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, threatened to throw Johnston in jail should he not cooperate with immigration enforcement.
But Colorado state laws prohibit local governments from cooperating with immigration enforcement officers. They also prevent local agencies from being involved in immigration detention. So would Johnston be on the wrong side of the law? I talked to a CU law professor, Deep Gulasekharam, to find out how this might play out. Joining us now is Deep Gulasekharam, a professor of law at CU Boulder. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So we're really seeing this rhetoric on both sides between Denver Mayor Mike Johnston and the appointee possibly as border czar from President-elect Donald Trump. Both sides saying that they are going to uphold the law. Now, there are some differences between state law here in Colorado in terms of immigration and laws that President Trump is saying he's going to enforce. Which one of these do you think is going to win? Which one trumps the other, so to say?
So immigration law and immigration enforcement is a federal responsibility. The federal government and whoever the administration is, the incoming Trump administration, gets to administer federal law, and they are permitted to use federal agents to enforce federal law wherever they want. The real question here, though, is that there's a limited amount of federal agents and federal resources to engage in immigration enforcement. And one of the quickest ways and one of the easiest ways that the federal government can engage in massive immigration enforcement is to try and leverage or otherwise get cooperation from state and local authorities. And this is where the statements of people like the mayor or the governor of Colorado matter, because they are under no constitutional obligation to have state and local officials, officers engage in federal immigration enforcement, and can, through the operation of local law or state law, actively prohibit the participation of state and local officers in the enforcement of federal law. And that's really the position that ultimately will win in a federal court.
Trump's border czar said yesterday on national television that he would arrest and jail Denver Mayor Mike Johnston on charges of knowingly harboring and concealing undocumented immigrants from authorities. Do you think that is even possible?
I mean, it's certainly possible, but that sounds very much like posturing rhetoric with a vague and broad threat by federal authorities. It would be beyond any application of enforcement laws. And in fact, in other types of cases where the federal government has attempted to get people underneath harboring statutes or smuggling statutes in this form, those have been rejected by federal courts.
President-elect Donald Trump said he's going to start his immigration enforcement in Colorado. He calls it Operation Aurora. How do you think this is all going to play out with both sides standing firm right now in their positions?
Well, one thing the state and local authorities cannot do is prevent federal agents from enforcing federal law. So Colorado can make it inhospitable for federal agents, and that is they're not sharing information, they're not cooperating with them. But if it turns out that the federal administration, the Department of Homeland Security, wants to dedicate significant resources to enforcement in Colorado with federal agents, they are not constitutionally forbidden from doing so. I think the real question is whether that is politically something that they want to do, and whether it's a good use of federal resources to do so.
We'll see how this plays out. Deep Gulasekharam for us. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.